The race for the 2008 presidential election is beginning to heat up. Several prominent members of both parties have expressed interest in running.
In the Democratic race, U.S. Senators Hillary Clinton and Illinois' own Barack Obama are already taking over the spotlight, and Stephen Caliendo is an associate professor of political science at North Central College. He joins us now with a look at the campaigns and how race will affect the candidates. And how will race affect the candidates?
Well, race is going to be very important with the first African-American candidate in some years declaring his intentions to run tomorrow. Historically, white folks don't vote for black candidates, and that's one of the reasons why it was such a big deal to get Barack Obama into the U.S. Senate, because many members of Congress who are African-American come from predominantly minority districts. And to get an African-American elected to a predominantly white district is a big deal. And, of course, to win a presidency, one has to win the plurality of votes in any state. It's going to be interesting.
That's interesting. One CBS poll had Hillary Clinton 2-1 with regard to wooing black voters. So what does he do to turn that around?
Well, I mean, I think that his official candidacy will do something to turn that around. That is, once he's out there on the campaign trail, his intentions are clear. He'll be able to get his message out a little bit more clearly. But the pollsters are going to have a hard time with this, because people aren't going to admit that they're reluctant to vote for a black candidate, because we have this norm of racial equality. And so it's going to be difficult to poll this.
Well, in terms of people's prejudices, which less affects it, sex or race? I mean, are we more likely to see a female candidate or a black candidate?
Yeah, that's the argument that nerdy political scientist people have been having in bars for decades at this point. Will we have a black man or a woman as president first? And we may have an opportunity, at least within the context of the Democratic primary, to really get a look at that and to settle that part of the debate, at least for now, once and for all.
Right.
And just while we have you here, what was your reaction to Joe Biden's remarks about Senator Obama calling him the first mainstream African-American who's articulate, bright, and clean?
Yeah, it wasn't surprising to me, in fact, and it's not because Joe Biden is a bigot. It's because that we all have these latent racist tendencies, and they surface in ways that we don't intend. And we talked about this on the blog that I keep at raceproject.org a couple weeks ago, and it really wasn't surprising. It may have been surprising that Senator Biden wasn't bright enough to sort of think about those comments before they came out of his mouth, but these sort of latent racism is what we're going to have to look for when Barack Obama runs.
A warning to those other candidates.
To be thoughtful, and a warning to all of us Americans to be thoughtful about the way racism affects us.
All right, Stephen Caliendo, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Okay.